Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a Tasrail subcontractor has been killed after his excavator tipped on train tracks near Evandale this morning. A second man was injured, with other workers witnessing the tragedy.
Leaving work without one of their own.
At about 10:45 this morning, emergency services were notified of a workplace accident on railway lines near Evandale.
Emergency services and volunteers arriving to a devastating incident.
We found an excavator on its side and the male driver deceased at the scene. At the same time, we also located another workman with minor injuries that was taken to hospital.
The mainland workers were subcontracted by Tasrail to carry out upgrade works. The deceased man from Victoria, with Tasmania Police now working with Victorian authorities to contact his next of kin. His colleagues watching the tragedy take place.
We believe 4 people were on the scene, immediate scene at the time, but we're yet to confirm those numbers until the investigation is complete.
Mental health support has already been offered to staff involved in today's incident, with work stopping at the site to allow investigations to be carried out. Tasrail issued a statement this afternoon extending its sympathies. A spokesperson says it's working with the relevant contracting firm and WorkSafe, with the National Rail Safety Regulator also attending the site this afternoon. Evandale Road has been closed since the incident this morning to allow investigations and safe removal to take place.
Given the weight of the excavator and the location it's in, we're bringing in a large crane and 2 other excavators to move the excavator that actually has come off the rail line.
The crane will have to use the entire road, with police estimating the road will be closed until after 7 p.m. This incident was Tasmania's 3rd workplace fatality for 2022.
It's obviously a terrible thing to go to work and to be involved in something like this. It's not something you'd ever want.
The south line of the Tasmanian rail network north of Kanara will remain closed until further notice. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
And a man has died following a single vehicle crash in Sorell this afternoon. It's believed the victim suffered a medical episode before veering off the Arthur Highway, with the car coming to rest in a bush. The crash happened just after 1:30. Police are continuing to investigate. Launceston police have chased down 2 men suspected of fleeing a multi-car smash which caused traffic mayhem on the southern outlet. The pair arrested when they were tracked down by police on opposite sides of the city.
With nowhere left to run, police nab their first suspect not far from the scene of a huge crash, bringing a busy intersection to a standstill.
It was really loud and so much smoke was coming out of it.
I saw a ute absolutely bloody flying ran the red light.
That's when L-plater Josh Gunn was caught in the chaos, a sitting duck as the ute lost control after swerving to avoid other cars.
And then he hit that red car there and then flipped, hit us and then flipped into the truck.
He says 2 men inside the ute then made a run for it.
They just bolted up the road and were gone. They jumped a fence and were out of there.
The first suspect didn't get far. He was cornered on Charles Street South, 3 blocks from the crash site near the southern outlet. The second was caught on George Street. He was arrested outside Turkish Tucker before being led away for questioning. Police swooped on the suspects, arresting both just over an hour after the crash. Luckily, no one was seriously injured.
It was very scary because it could happen to anyone, really.
Charges are yet to be laid. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Police have laid a raft of charges on a 29-year-old man following yesterday's service station sting at Hadspen. The man from the state south is accused of emotional abuse, common assault, evading police, aggravated burglary and driving whilst disqualified, among other charges. He will appear in the Launceston Magistrates Court later tonight. A Hobart taxi driver has revealed the extent of violence and threats he and others are facing behind the wheel. It comes after 2 separate incidents last night in the state south, which left 1 worker with a damaged vehicle. Grace Evans has the details.
A 30-year-old Glenorchy woman has appeared in the Hobart Magistrates Court today after she allegedly assaulted a taxi driver during a trip shortly after 9:30 last night. Meanwhile, a separate incident occurred earlier in the evening which saw another driver the target of alleged threats from 3 passengers who were collected from the Kmart Plaza. An 18-year-old man and a 27-year-old woman from Newtown have since been arrested as investigations continue into the third offender. Hobart's Taxi Drivers Association have condemned the latest attacks, voicing concerns assaults are on the rise in the cab industry.
People are not taking this as a livelihood, so I don't know why only we are getting attacked and we are being assaulted, abused. Why we?
Fare evading and counterfeit payments continue to cause problems, with drivers being forced to fork out funds for CCTV retrieval.
When we want to take evidence from the taxi, we have to pay $250 from the pocket of the person who is actually already in trouble.
Pleading the government to change the rules and regulations.
It's not on, it's not acceptable, whether it's in a taxi or wherever it is. So we want to certainly stand up for the welfare of our taxi drivers and those that are subject to such allegations.
Police have confirmed the 2 incidents are not related, saying the behaviour of offenders won't be tolerated, urging anyone with information to come forward.
361 staff have been furloughed for COVID-related reasons, according to the latest data from the Department of Health. Hospitals cancelling elective surgery and limiting visitation as 173 patients test positive for the virus.
From what we're hearing from members, where there have been outbreaks in hospitals, they've been well managed and contained to small areas.
Those protocols are important, they are applied and they are managed to ensure that the health of Tasmanians are maintained.
49 patients are being treated specifically for COVID and 2 are in intensive care. 25 outbreaks have also erupted in aged care facilities across the state. It comes as 1,586 new infections surfaced overnight, bringing the state's active cases to almost 10,000. 2 people have died from the virus and a death from April has now been added to the tally, which now stands at 116. Tasmania Police has asked people to be on the lookout for a social media scam asking for money by pretending to be close family members. Scammers are sending messages through apps like WhatsApp saying they have lost, broken or had their phones stolen and require funds as soon as possible. Police say at least 10 Tasmanians have been victims of the scam, losing over $50,000. A fleet of first responders is jetting off to New South Wales to compete in the Australasian Rescue Challenge. For the first time, Tasmania has entered 2 teams, each comprising 5 fire brigade personnel and a paramedic, taking part in critical rescue and medical scenarios over 4 days.
It's just a great opportunity to learn from everyone around the country and a good opportunity for us to test ourselves.
The Fire Services Hobart team placed second at the last event in 2019, earning the right to battle it out in the World Rescue Challenge in Luxembourg later this year. Tasmania's State League is preparing to host its inaugural Pride Cup match this weekend. North Hobart will take on Glenorchy for the round 17 encounter at KG5 Oval, with footballers donning their best rainbow colours. The initiative is designed to highlight the sport as a safe space for all Tasmanians.
What I do want though is clubs to be very inclusive, make people feel welcome, make them feel appreciated for who they are and be better clubs because of it.
Clubs have an important role to play in demystifying, welcoming and making it clear that the other potential views just can't be tolerated anymore and won't be tolerated.
Educational resources have been provided to both clubs to provide them with a better understanding of the barriers the LGBTIQ+ community face. Striving to see Tasmania become the world's leading Antarctic gateway, experts spent the afternoon mapping out a blueprint for the next 5 years. The last strategy saw the sector's worth grow to $160 million, employing 950 people.
We want to make sure that not just the airport, but the port itself is fit for purpose for any vessels, any and all vessels that need to traverse to the Antarctic.
There are tremendous opportunities here in science, in education, in public outreach and in tourism.
Government will be seeking public consultation on the Gateway strategy, set to be released in late October when the Antarctic season begins.
Tasmania's young footballers are showcasing their skills in the Next Generation series kicking off today. Intra-state games between the southern and northern sides feature the best players from local leagues. Top talent could be picked for the state under-16 side next year. A perfect start for Tasmania's men in the Under-21 Australian Hockey Championships. Tyler McDonald scored the opening goal against Queensland in the 3rd minute before scoring again for the side in the 2nd quarter. The 3-0 rout was sealed when Ruben Hoey executed a perfect finish in the 3rd term. Meanwhile, in the women's, Madison Brooks scored from the penalty spot in the match against Victoria. The side ultimately went down 3-1. Stuart McSwain was squeezed out of the pack at the start of the 1500 metres final. He was forced to run from lane 3 as he made his way into 2nd place during the opening lap. But the King Islander slipped back to finish 9th, 4 seconds behind Britain's Jake Whiteman, who was stunned by the win.
Jake Whiteman, with the performance of his lifetime, denies the Olympic champion the world crown.
And making the moment sweeter, Whiteman's dad was on the event's PA. Closer to home now, the Launceston Tornadoes are staring down COVID and the worst road trip of the year in this weekend's NBL1. They'll also be without star Mariana Tolo due to Opal's commitments as they take on the Mount Gambier Pioneers on Saturday night before driving in darkness to Ballarat post-match so they can take on the Miners the next day. Lauren Wise will step up to fill Tolo's shoes.
We've been easing Loz back into it, and it's been great to have Tolo here and Kelsey here. She's learning off them and she's been training really well.
And coach Sarah Veal will watch the action unfold from home after being struck down with COVID.
Obviously, it's going to be a little bit tough without Sarah there, but really looking forward to it. I know the girls will have my back.
The Tawns sit 5th on the ladder. Hurricanes batter Naomi Stalenberg will spend her 3rd season in purple after signing a new deal. Stalenberg's 1-year extension will see her return to the Hurricanes middle order. The side is filling out with 10 players now contracted for WBBL Season 8.
Good evening, 11, the top in Hobart today. A colder start in the north, but a warmer finish, all the centres reaching 13 degrees. Temperatures did range from -9 at Lyowini, good effort there, to King Island's 14 degrees. Smithton, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 13, Low Head and Flinders Island 12, Strawn and Bushy Park 11. Mostly clear skies over the state today, just a little cloud developing over the northeast and west of Tasmania. More clouds spotted over the eastern coast of the mainland. A low has cloud over New South Wales and into South Australia. A large frontal cloud band is approaching Western Australia. Tomorrow, the high tracks over the Tasman Sea. A trough appears over inland Queensland and that front moves over Western Australia. Winds dropping off a little bit tomorrow, generally from the northeast at 10 to 15 knots, but up to 20 to 30 knots over western waters. So a strong wind warning there. That's from Sandy Cape to Stanley in the far northwest. And we have a road weather alert that continues. Warnings of ice on roads making driving conditions dangerous tomorrow morning. Heed that warning, please. Forecast 12 for Hobart and sunny. A morning frost for Cygnet, a top of 12. -2 over Knifey to Norfolk, 13 the high later. Launceston 13, 12 the top for Devonport with a shower on the way, 11 the high for Campbelltown after a frosty start. Burnie showers developing, top of 12, 13 for Strawn, Smithton a shower and 13 degrees. St Helens tomorrow a high of 13, partly cloudy, same for Swansea, 12 the top for Fingal. On Friday, a mostly sunny day, just a light shower over Burnie and maybe St Helens. More light showers on Saturday, more directed over the north and west, and on Sunday temperatures rising a tad with a few more scattered showers. Rain over Perth with that front crossing tomorrow, partly cloudy for Adelaide. A cold start in Melbourne followed by a sunny afternoon. Showers for Canberra and Sydney, but rain in Brisbane. Clear in Hobart, currently 5 degrees, 7 in Launceston and getting cool in Devonport, currently 4 degrees. That's all from me, Kim. I know you're in a hurry to get home for, what were you telling me, tomato soup?
Veggie soup and some mouldy focaccia. Can't waste anything. That wraps up your midweek news. On behalf of the team, thanks for joining us. Good night.